take 5. This is the Generations 3 Pure Data program walkthrough. This is a major upgrade from Generations 2, where I would manually use random number generators to compile the sequences in my DAW, which then would get played to the recorders, and I would activate record and everything. It was just a very manual process, which took a very long time. Generations 3, I used Pure Data, which basically automates all of these processes. In the beginning, it took me a while to get to this point because I was a little bit intimidated by Pure Data, especially since I was still trying to figure out things with the equipment and so forth. So now I have more time to do programming. So I was a little intimidated at first, but in the end, I realized it only took me like, an hour of just watching YouTube videos to create this program. It's a very inspiring program, and especially for whatever I'm doing, it's just super simple. So it just really came naturally and very easy to do. So let's start this off. The machine is, there are big green start buttons and stop buttons. So let's start here. This is the heart of the machine, which is the timer and the automatic playback machine. This essentially dictates when it's awake and when it's sleeping. So the timer machine is like the heart of it. As soon as I press start, it starts a metronome that sends out a bang every second. These bangs get counted with this counter right here. Also, when I press start, it picks a number, which then generates a random number. In this case, it's 107. So essentially, once this counter reaches 107, it will send out a bang. Okay, this is the length of the song. It's 107 seconds. After 107 seconds, it sends out this bang here to a song counter, where it will count the song, how many songs have passed. When I press start as well, a third activation is here. This actually generates a number for the number of songs it will play. So in this case, once I press start, it picked the number 4. So this, after it counts every song, it sends the message up here. And if it's not this number, it activates it again and starts a new song, essentially. Once it reaches the number 4, then it stops the entire machine. Okay. So what I'm doing now with this generation of 3.0 is I am recording the first song of every play group. So in this case, there's 4 songs in this play group that it will loop 4 times essentially. And then after it ends, I press record, and then I record the first song of the next play group, and then just the first song. And then I let the play group finish, and then I record the next song, the first song again. So that's how the automatic playback machine and the timer machine happens here. Let me start that again. I think this didn't... So let's go and take a look at what's happening at each Reebox machine. So when I press start, it activates a bang, which activates the bang at each machine at the same time. Now this first bit of the program is I would say it was like a probability counter. What I was finding out that without this, it would be fast forwarding, rewinding, and stopping more than it would be playing and recording. This kind of wasn't desirable, especially when you're propagating the sound on the tapes, on a reel of tape. There's a lot of non-sound action happening rather than sound action happening. So I needed to find some way to manipulate it in a sense that I could, dictate that I wanted play and record to happen more than fast forward or rewind, without specifically telling it when I want it to happen. So what I did was I had this probability counter. What that does is that you can say, you can dictate the percentage, the maximum percentage that it would pick either fast forward and rewind or play, stop, and record, essentially. So in this case, if I select 30, if I feed 30 into the machine, it will say that, okay, well, I only want fast forward and rewind 30% of the time, and I want play and record 70% of the time. So then, at least I know that play and record will happen more times than fast forward and rewind. And it still gives the machine the freedom to select anything at random. So after it selects, let's say for example, the fast forward or rewind, it selects which one it wants, and then let's say for example it goes down to here, rewind. It immediately sends out the note message that activates rewind to the Revox machine, and it sends out immediately. At the same time, it activates a timer, which is the duration of the rewind action. When that is finished, it sends out a stop message to the machine. Now when it sends out the stop message to the machine, it automatically sends itself the bang again, which then starts the whole probability counting and the whole action selection over again. So every time it sends out a stop message, it starts itself over again. And essentially this is happening independently for each machine. So each machine is not tied down to any metronome. It's not synchronized in any way. So all of these machines are purely autonomous, are purely improvising their own composition. The DME machine is quite similar. Once I press start, it selects a random number, which is a duration. It waits for that, and then it sends a message to pick the scene and send out the scene. As soon as it sends it out, it sends itself back a bang, which then picks a new duration, and then it just basically loops itself. And that is a DME machine. Again, autonomous, it's not based on any metronome or whatnot, so it's autonomous. The ultimate goal for this, this is for a future machine right here. This is a DP control, digital performer control. Digital performer is my DAW. And I have made a machine here that will automate some functions to record in digital performer. This machine. As it is at the moment, I don't have the hardware as of yet to do this, to connect it to my computer, so I'm actually manually pressing record for this. But as soon as I get that hardware, essentially once I press start, it's going to record. It will activate my DAW to record, and then when it reaches the end of the song, it's going to stop it, it's going to save it, it's going to copy the tracks and make it like a blank slate, and then select that new folder. Like they call it chunks in DP, but it's like a file, essentially like a folder. And then after that, once it's going to activate the start again, and then it's going to start recording itself. Once it reaches the song, it's going to stop, save, copy, activate that track, and then start again. And essentially that is going to make it the entire instrument autonomous. It's going to make it so that you can set any number of songs and record any number of songs, basically. And you can just walk away, and then in the end, it will spit out as many songs as you want. So that is the Pure Data Generations 3.0 walkthrough. It's basically a fully autonomous program where it lets the machines themselves compose their own recordings, and at the same time, I'm documenting how they compose together, the end result.